hello, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the time is, wherever you are. I hope everyone is well. Excuse the seagulls in the background, as always. Today is a very long anticipated video. I literally said I was filming it in November and then I never did. Loads of people have been asking for it, so thank you so much for your patience. I've literally been procrastinating it because it's such a long, I think it's something difficult to film, but today is the long awaited tattoo tour video. I'm so silly for filming this now because I'm literally getting tattooed at the end of the month, but oh well. So we're going to do a full tattoo tour and I'm going to do a Q&A as well. Q&A was from my last tattoo vlog. A lot of you commented questions because I put out a call for them, and then I also did a question box on Instagram. So some of it's questions about my tattoos, some of it's questions about tattooing in general. Any of my tattoo themed videos tend to bring in like a fair amount of new people. So if you're new to this channel, hi, welcome. My name's Charlotte. I usually upload Wednesdays and Sundays. I guess I would consider myself like a bit of a lifestyle creator. I do a bit of everything, book reviews, hair, fashion, vlogs, you name it. But yeah, welcome, stay a while, subscribe if you like it here. I would like to preface this tour and video by saying I know my tattoos aren't going to be for everyone. I know some of them are probably not good, some of them are very cheap, and that is reflected in the tattoo. Some of you watching might not even like tattoos, might not like tattoos for yourself. That is so fine. This is a space for being polite. If you don't like them, let's just agree to disagree. I absolutely love all my tattoos. For the Q&A portion, I wouldn't consider myself to be an authority on tattoos. I am just answering what I think to questions people have asked me. It feels really necessary to add that disclaimer because I want people to understand that getting a tattoo is a different process for each person, and like deciding how you get your tattoos, and yeah, I don't know. I really like mine. You might not really like mine. That is so okay. It makes sense to start at the top and work our way down. So without further ado, let's get started. We'll start with my ear tattoo. This is one of the tattoos I actually got done in 2023. I got this done at Brighton Tattoo Convention. When I got this, I was really scared that it would feel like a face tattoo because it's on my face, but now I got these little leaves and then a little dot work portion. I'm tempted to get something tattooed more onto my earlobe. I love this one. It healed really easily. The pain was really minimal. I just recommend taking earplugs because it was really loud. The only bit that kind of hurt was this bit like just before my tragus, and it was more like a cat scratch. Super easy. It took like half an hour. I do really want to get the other side of my ear tattooed. I just don't know whether to get like something matching or something completely different, or like something the same but different. I really hate my ears. It doesn't like bother me that much now, but I really don't like my ears. I think they're massive. They're just ears at the end of the day. Who actually gives a shit? But getting my ears tattooed has made me like them so much more, so I need to get the other side done. I just think like from this side of my whole body I look like really cool and tattooed, and then this side it's like wah wah. Next up we have my neck tattoo. I've got some strawberries, some cherries. I love a fruit tattoo. You'll probably realise this as you come through my tattoos. I can't remember when I got this done. I want to say maybe it was 2021. It's like a nice black and grey realistic. Again, the neck was an area, I think the more you get up here, the more I was like a bit nervous to get it done. I live in an area where there's a lot of heavily tattooed people, so in the grand scheme of things I don't feel very tattooed at all. A neck tattoo was really like, this is a tattoo that's like really visible all the time to me, which seems really silly because I had so many other tattoos before. I was just being cautious to consider it, and also because I can't see it, that feeling went in like 2 seconds. I absolutely love it. Again, I want something on the other side to match, but I'm not really sure whether to go, I'll go to the same artist 100%, but I'm not really sure whether to go the same and different, fruit, veg, that kind of thing. And I kind of want some added onto it, so I'd quite like it to come to here and maybe go around the back a little bit. I'm in no rush to get this done. One area I don't think I'll ever get done is like the front column of my throat, just like, you know, up under here, or if I do it won't be till I'm like much older, because I think this area really changes as you age, and also kind of I see people with it and I really like it, but it feels a bit claustrophobic, like a scarf to me. I'd get something like dainty here, but never like a picture. That one was actually really quick. It was only like an hour and a half, and the artist was really, really good and just really chatty. We really got on. We like had quite a good connection. So I think that made it a lot easier. It was relatively pain-free for me, to be honest. Moving down the body, we come on to probably my most complimented tattoo. I get compliments on this so many times throughout the week, especially in the summer, and it's my little sparkle on my chest. I absolutely love this one. This was another tattoo I got in 2023. I got it done at the Brighton Tattoo Convention. I have wanted this for so long. I feel like it's quite a popular tattoo, like I see quite a lot of people with it. So the two hardest things about this tattoo, it literally didn't hurt at all, it took like 10 minutes, was getting the placement right, because it needs to be pretty central, pretty symmetrical, but bodies aren't symmetrical. And choosing a sparkle, I took quite a long time to get that because it was just from a flash book. I'm really tempted to add to this one, like either in a straight line, probably upwards and not downwards, but who knows. I could go outwards as well. I don't know, I said I never really fancied getting my chest tattooed and I don't, but I think that would be quite striking. I just think the placement's really nice. Right, let's go left arm first. Brings you to my first tattoo, which is this half sleeve. I feel like this is quite a big first tattoo to get. So it's two magpies in a blackberry bush. A lot of my tattoos don't have a lot of meaning, but this is probably the one that has like any kind of semblance of meaning. So where I grew up, there would always be two magpies in our front garden, and we would also always go foraging and like berry picking, and we'd always pick off blackberry bushes. Funnily enough, this was originally supposed to be in colour because I really wanted to capture that like blue-green sheen of the magpies, and I just never went back to get it finished, and I'm actually really glad I didn't. In the future I might get it filled in with black and grey. The artist still does live locally, but what's really funny as well is when I booked, went and got it done, told her it was my first tattoo, and I was like, oh yeah, I just don't think I'll ever be that person that has an unfinished tattoo, like I just want to get it done. I got this done when I was literally, it was like 3 days after I turned 18, and I'm 28 now. It's probably, I don't think one of my least favourite tattoos, but I think I'm just used to it. Moving further down the arm, we have one of my worst tattoos. I'll flip this the right way for you, but it's my Playboy Louis Vuitton tattoo. I got this done on a whim. I know it's not a very good tattoo. You do not need to say anything. This to me is like a perfect example of good tattoos aren't cheap and cheap tattoos aren't good. The guy was very kind. It was a little bit of a red flag that he offered to tattoo my face like straight away. It's like fairly shiny. It's gone quite deep, like it's scarred a little bit. There's a few things that are like technically bad about it. So like the bow doesn't line up properly as to where it does on the logo. The little Louis Vuitton like floral fleur-de-lis things are just not great quality, but like honestly I don't really care. I got what I paid for. I got a tattoo that I really like. I think it's really funny. Like it's always a good conversation like piece when people ask about tattoos. I'm like, oh yeah, it's definitely like my worst one I've got is probably my Playboy Louis Vuitton. People always really laugh and they're like, you've got a what? And I'm like, yeah, I've got my Playboy Louis Vuitton logo. Moving further down the arm, I've got my hand poke tattoo that says Forever 19. This was professionally hand poked. I didn't hand poke this myself. I used to get a tattoo every year for myself for my birthday, and I got that done on my, was it my 19th or was it my 21st? I think I actually got it on my 21st birthday, not my 19th. I was gonna get it in a tramp stamp, and I'm really glad I didn't. I wanted like a swirly, italic, cursive, ironic tramp stamps, and I know tramp stamps have made a really big comeback now, but at the time they hadn't. So I wanted that. I wanted it to poke out above my jeans, so Forever 19. I got it just because I thought it was cute. I'm not gonna lie, it gets less and less funny the further away from 19 I get. So it was probably like peak unfunny around 25, and I think by the time I start inching towards my 40s it will be funny again. Right, I'll move you on to my second hand poke tattoo while we're on the subject of hand pokes, and it's this one here. Those two were done by the same person but quite a big time span apart. So the flower with the scissors was actually my first hand poke and probably like my third tattoo. A lot of the ones you're seeing are quite like early on. So I mean, I suppose this one does have a bit of meaning as well. So I'm actually a qualified florist. This is when I was studying floristry. I must have been about 20 when I got that one. So those two were done by the same artist, and the flowers was done quite early on in his like tattooing career. So we had to go over it twice or 3 times. There was a couple of bits that dropped out. That's just the way with hand poking. Sometimes your skin takes it, sometimes it doesn't. I found that a lot of my tattoos I've had from him since then are like better quality, obviously just because he's learned more about hand poking. I don't mind going over things for a second pass anyway. Like no one ever notices that there's a few bits that haven't taken the ink. Hand poking for me heals really easily, really non-traumatic on the body. There's basically no healing time. It's healed really fast for me previously. Onto quite a chunky big one on my arm. You'll see from the close-up, but I've got a really big dragon. Always really wanted like a Japanese style dragon tattoo. His head starts on my wrist, and then it wraps all around the inside of my forearm, and his tail ends at my elbow ditch. I still haven't had like I suppose this is the top or the side of my forearm done because I want something long in here, but I don't know what I'll get. I didn't quite realise how long a dragon would take. I hadn't had very many big black or grey shaded pieces up until this point. You know, that really soft, like sensitive flesh on the insides of your arms, the insides of your legs, like your stomach. I find that really painful, so I found this tattoo really painful, and it took a lot longer than I thought it would. Also, like going inside your elbow ditch is just like, that's not even like deeply inside it. It is a little bit inside it, but it was, yeah, just not comfortable at all. And then on to my hand tattoos, of which I don't have a lot, so this will be very brief. So I have matching pairs of lyrics on my hands: serving something and beyond me. So it's serving something beyond me. I don't know why I always say it so disjointed. These are Fleet Foxes lyrics from the song Helplessness Blues. They do need a little bit of a touch up. I've got a vlog of when I got these done. I got these done in 2023, so I'll link the vlog to that in the description box below. I've always really wanted text on my hands. One of my best friends has like a really dainty, like I think a lot lighter, she's got hers in like a grey, this is a black. She's got a really dainty bit of text there, and I was like, I'm really sorry, can I copy you? She's like, yeah, that's fine. It was really hard for me to decide what text and what lyrics to get. Obviously we're bound by the fact that my hands are quite small. It's not super legible because of the script I chose, but I'm fine with that. I just find it awkward when people always ask me what it says. Awkward for me, not awkward for them. I have a note in my phone that basically has any kind of lyrics or any kind of hand tattoo combinations. I just put everything into there. So I spent ages choosing from it and went ages around listening to loads of songs that I like. Fleet Foxes always have like a really special place in my heart for me. And I thought Serving Something Beyond Me was a nice testament to like how I wish to feel aligned in my life. Ignore my grown out nails that I do myself, but then I have my little M. A lot of people think that that's a Scorpio symbol because of the little tail on the M. It's actually an M for my mum's first name, which is Michelle. My mum passed away when I was a child and I wanted a nice tributary tattoo to her. I will say I haven't taken the best care of my tattoos in earlier years when it comes to things like SPF, and hand tattoos always do blur out a bit. I get quite self-conscious that a lot of my tattoos look quite worn in. I guess that I wouldn't notice it on the day-to-day, and neither would you if we were just like chilling day-to-day, but I think it's because I'm showing them all on like a 4K camera. I've had a lot of them a long time now, so that's just how tattoos look after a while. We'll continue this journey by going back up the right arm. Again, we have another big forearm banger. I can't flip and show you the inside of my arm comfortably, but you'll see it in the close-up, I'm sure. This one's a snake resting in some peonies. Again, this just has no meaning. I just liked the artist's work. I thought it was really pretty. It was quite delicate and detailed at the time, like lots of layers, lots of shading, lots of grey work. I think the peony on the inside is absolutely beautiful. Snake going up into my elbow ditch, that was so painful. My arm was so swollen. Same with the bit of the tail that nearly touches on my elbows, like this tattoo. I was young as well. This is like one of my first really big tattoos. I think I was still 18. Oh, it was just so uncomfortable. My arm was really swollen for quite a long time after that. I also was just a stupid idiot and got it tattooed hungover and really tired on like 3 hours of sleep because I feel like the snake's head is quite hard to see. Next up is my elbow monstera leaf. Let me flip this the right way around for you. This area was not that painful to get tattooed because it's a fine line tattoo, and overall I'm really pleased with how it fits in this gap. When she did the leaf closest to my elbow, I'm not gonna lie, I did feel like my elbow was literally getting tattooed from the inside, but other than that, it was pretty much pain-free. The most uncomfortable thing was really how I had to lie on the bench to get my elbow tattooed. Moving up the arm, I have some writing here which says, "A woman is more dangerous than a loaded pistol." If you know Di Antwoord, you'll know Ninja from Di Antwoord has the same tattoo. I'm sure we all saw this photo back on Tumblr in the day. I wanted it in the same placement actually. I didn't want to tattoo that area of my hip. I wanted as much stuff on my arms filmed as possible basically. One I wanted on my arm was the one that he's got in the middle of his chest. It says, "How can an angel break my heart?" But the only thing that bothered me about that is I couldn't be bothered to deal with people telling me that my tattoo was like grammatically incorrect. Unfortunately, since I got the tattoo, like we don't stand Di Antwoord anymore. There's like loads of awful allegations against them. We've just found out they're not very good people. They basically got cancelled for a bunch of really awful things that I don't think I can talk about on YouTube, which made me really nervous. Don't really feel bad having it because I got it before the fact. Next up, I have a tattoo that's dedicated to my man. I've got a Gothic D for Doug. He's not Gothic Doug. This was my most recent one actually. I got this in November. I've always really wanted a tattoo dedicated to Doug. I was going to go with his full name, but the D just fit perfectly in the gap. I'm not going to lie, it will probably be not the last one I get that's for him, because I do still want his name on me somewhere. I feel like people have a lot of shit to say about partner tattoos, and I get it. One of the Beckhams has like 99 plus tattoos dedicated to his wife, which I think is a little bit much, but that's his decision. We've been together for so long now, since I was 21, that I kind of view it as, if we broke up tomorrow and I had this tattoo, I wouldn't regret it, because he's been such a big part of my life. I wouldn't feel bad about explaining what the tattoo was to anyone. It's just, it like is what it is. It's not that deep to me. Anyway, it's my body, it doesn't matter. And no, my partner doesn't have a single tattoo, because I know everyone will be curious. Everyone is always really surprised when I say that as well. He has 0 tattoos. Next up is one of my 2 colour tattoos. Everything else is black and grey. It's this little gravestone right here. This was my second ever tattoo. The colour hasn't held up very well, to be honest. It was off a flash sheet. I got it done on my lunch break. I look at it and I don't even know what it means, because like, I don't want a grave of pretty girls. Like, I love pretty girls. I don't know, it was just, I saw it, it was traditional colour, I really liked it, I got it. End of. It was my second ever tattoo. My dad was quite upset when he saw it. I think it was something about like the fact that it was a gravestone was quite like a bit much for him. When I realised I only wanted black and grey tattoos, I was like quite annoyed that I'd got this, but it is what it is, isn't it? It's not very obvious, I don't think. Moving up, we've got so much patchworky stuff on this arm, so I'll talk you through it. So I've got this little line work abstract kind of naked lady. It's quite like arty, this one. I really like this one. Again, it was just one that I saw on Instagram, and I just thought, you know, I really like that design. Let's start filling up my arms. It was a really pleasant experience. The tattoo artist was so kind, so nice. We'll go on to this little rosy one. This is a single needle fine line tattoo. I don't really remember how old I was when I got this one done, but I know a lot of people are very curious on how single needle holds up. So here's a good example. I think I probably got this done when I was maybe like 21, 22. I think it's held up pretty well, considering that until I was about 25, I didn't wear any kind of sun protection on my body, like ever, even when I was sunbathing, and I would blast my skin on holiday. I'm still really happy with it. It's delicate, it's dainty, tattoos are gonna age. So the last 3 on this arm, they were all done by the same person. They were all tattooed by one of my best friends called Harley. Yes, I let her tattoo her own name on me. To be fair, that's something I'd said I wanted for ages. So Harley's a tattooist based in Manchester. She was involved in my last tattoo vlog, which I'll link in the description box below. I went up to visit her. This was my first time getting tattooed by her. I can't remember how long she'd been tattooing for at that point, but I just wanted 2 tattoos off her flash sheet. We were just there for like a day, half a day, and then I wanted her to tattoo her name on me as well, so that's exactly what I did. I also got a pleaser heel and then my little cherry hearts with the sparkles on them. I'm very big into cherries anyway, and I was very big into cherries then. Next, I'm going to take you onto my very unfinished stomach and sternum. So I have my little hand holding a snake. Sternum pain actually wasn't too bad. It just felt a bit cat scratchy, especially in that area between my boobs. It felt more painful when I had this done because I had a cold and I was on my period. I would never ever recommend getting tattooed with a cold. This was pre-COVID times, so you didn't have to like declare any of that stuff, but it does make your tattoos way more painful. I did feel like shivery, and obviously having my stomach out was just not a good idea. But yeah, I think this hurt a lot less than I was expecting it to. The only difficult thing is obviously you can't talk while you're getting it done, because usually the tattoo artist is kind of leaning on your stomach. Under that, I have the last of my hand pokes by the same artist. So I have a hand poke text that reads, "May the bridges I burn light the way." A lot of people are like, what does this mean? Seems really vengeful. Like, I'm not really that kind of person. I'm not gonna lie, I saw it written on a hoodie. It was at the Vetements show on the runway, and I thought that would make a really cool tattoo because I can't afford the hoodie. So yeah, I have nothing else to say other than that. It always gets a good laugh, but yeah. Taking you next onto the right side of my stomach. A lot of the tattoos I have are flash tattoos or like wanna-dos that artists post on their stories, that kind of thing. I'm not very good at thinking up ideas, clearly. I really like this hand. It's like a bit ooky spooky, a bit occulty. I really like the sparkles above it. The plan is to get a matching hand on the other side, the same but different. So not like an exact match, like a twin, but like a sibling. So next up is probably my biggest tattoo. Well, it's definitely my biggest tattoo. It's my back piece. I don't really assign favourites to my tattoos, but I do think this is one of my favourite tattoos ever. Choosing a back piece, I think we're going to talk about this in the Q&A because someone asked a question about it, but choosing a back piece was one of the hardest things I've ever done, because it was the last, to me, the last big bit of flat non-wrapping space. I still have a lot of space on my legs, as you'll see, but it's like the last thing where you can have like a big flat tattoo. I love this so much, but every day I see someone else's back piece and I'm like, that's so fucking cool. Why didn't I think of that? That doesn't detract from the back piece I have now. I just don't have more than one back, and people have so many cool ideas. This only took me 2 full days of tattooing, so it was about 10 to 12 hours, I reckon. There was quite a big gap done between them because of COVID, so I started it pre-COVID and got it finished like post-COVID, or like after the first lockdown, I think. Very, very loosely based on the Lovers tarot card, but I wanted something a bit more like gothic-y looking. But that was like the loose concept of it all. Pain levels, the first session was really, really awful. I was like, I am in no hurry to get this done. So when it got rescheduled because of COVID, I was like secretly pleased. The second session was a walk in the park. We thought it was gonna have to be 3 as well, so that was a really nice surprise. So when we completed it, we were like, yeah, it's done. And now I'm like, no, I want more added to it because I want to add more across my shoulders. I've got a lot of space, I want to come up. I think I could add more in on the sides. When I got this done, I was like, yeah, finally, I'm gonna feel like a person that's really heavily tattooed. I didn't, because it's on my back and I can't see it. We're nearly done because I don't have hardly any of my legs tattooed. So the next one is the start of my leg sleeve. Leg sleeve? Trouser sleeve? Trousers don't have sleeves, but you get the idea. So this is actually my most recent tattoo. I got this done in November. This is when I started it. My friend Harley that I was telling you about earlier, she did it. I do have a full vlog on this, so I'll pop it in the description box so you know where to find it. This is my Renaissance art inspired leg sleeve. So because I can't resist a patchwork and I didn't want one solid block leg sleeve, this is obviously going to be like individual tattoos all pieced together to make a leg sleeve. I'm sure you get the vision. I know the artwork might not be technically from the Renaissance time period, but that's just kind of the vibe. So understand the vibe, not technically correct art history. So the first one is from literally one of my favourite paintings ever. It's Venus weighing Cupid against the Butterfly by Henri Pierre Picot. I don't know if it's Henri because it's spelled Henrie, so excuse any mispronunciation of that. Very delicate. I'm obsessed with the shading. Harley is so good at this type of work. Next one below that is of a lovely Prometheus getting one of his vital organs ripped out by an eagle. This is from the painting Prometheus Bound by Christian Schussel, I think it is. Schussel. It's spelt like Schussele. I'm assuming it's Schussel. I'm actually getting more added to this at the end of February, so I will be vlogging it. I'm gonna hopefully get another 2 pieces in there. These both took pretty much a day each. They were like 5-6 hours each, just because of the level of detail. Like, look, the muscle shading goes crazy on them. It's a pretty good like guideline that will probably just get another 2 pieces done, but I'm really happy with that. And last of all, certainly not least, I have my second and my last tattoo and last colour piece. Introducing to you my giant praying mantis tattoo. So this was probably like my 3rd tattoo. I got this done by an artist. I really love their work. All of their work tends to be exclusively colour, and I just wanted a piece done by this artist so bad. And she posted that she had a spot at Brighton Tattoo Convention. I got this done when I was 19. She posted that she had a spot and I snapped it up with my idea, and she said, yeah, I'd love to do that. And she drew it up and she sent it to me, and I absolutely loved it. This was by far one of the most painful tattoos I've ever had. I was under the impression that it was going to take like 4 hours, and it ended up taking the majority of the day. I was a very silly 19-year-old. I didn't take any snacks because I didn't think it would be that long. Didn't take any water. Basically, I left the convention thinking I was going to throw up. It was just, I didn't take any breaks because I just wanted to get it done. I really didn't nourish my body in that instance. I got an amazing piece of artwork that I'm really, really happy with. I wanted to turn it into a leg sleeve, and in hindsight I'm really glad I didn't. It just didn't work out. It's been nearly 10 years since I got this one done, and I am really happy with how the colours turned out. But of course, see what I mentioned earlier about just like not respecting my skin, not using SPF, that kind of thing. It's got a normal amount of wear and tear for someone that behaves like that. But to be honest, even the yellows held up really well, which I am really pleased with. Like, it's a beautiful tattoo. I'm so happy with it. And my leg sleeve, the plan for that is to go down and around it, because I just felt for so long that it was just sat there by itself and I didn't know what to put around it, whether to carry on with colour, that kind of thing. It does come onto my shin quite a lot, which wasn't that bad. It was the back of my leg that was really like agonising. Also, I hadn't fueled my body sufficiently. We were just going at it for so long. So yeah, that put me off tattooing for quite a long time. You know, when you get that one that's really painful and then you just don't come back to it for ages. That's every single tattoo I've got. It's not really a lot in the grand scheme of things. Like, I think I look quite heavily tattooed in this shot, but when I've got a bikini on, there's so much room. I'm gonna make a coffee and then we're gonna move on to the Q&A portion. First up is, so what's the inspo behind your tats? Do you have any you regret? As far as inspiration goes, I mentioned this briefly earlier, I genuinely don't have a lot of ideas for tattoos. Probably about half the time I'll have an idea for a concept or something that I want. I look on Pinterest a little bit just to look at different styles of tattoos. More often it's inspired by like a space or a gap I've got, but it's why a lot of my tattoos are quite disjointed styles, because I don't generally, haven't that much to be fair. I don't usually make a habit of going back to the same artist twice unless it's to finish a piece that I've already got, because I just think there are so many different art styles that I like that it would be a shame to not collect the art pieces from the artists, if that makes sense. I love people who have tattoos all from the same artist or a similar style. I think it looks really cohesive, it looks really polished. That's just unfortunately never the way I've done it. So I guess the inspiration is looking at how many different pieces of art I can collect from different people, really. And then eventually it kind of all came together. I get why people don't like patchwork styles of tattoos. I totally get it, because it's not very cohesive. It's not very pulled together until the last minute. But that's kind of why I like them. As far as regrets go, not really. No, I don't really tend to regret them. And because I do make some like rash and hasty decisions in tattooing, I think like the possibility that I would regret them is a part and parcel of the tattooing experience for me. Ideally, I'd like to not regret any, and I don't. And I will take the steps I can to get things done that I don't regret. I'm definitely a lot more careful about it now than I was when I first started tattooing, only because I'm kind of starting to run on limited-ish space. But no, I would go so far as to say I have none I regret. Do I have ones that like I wish I'd done a bit differently or would tweak? Yeah, probably, but I feel like that's the case for everything. Any advice for choosing a back piece? I just can't decide. Oh, choosing a back piece was maybe the hardest thing I've ever done. Like I mentioned earlier, there will always be other people's back pieces that I see and thought I wish I had that idea. I knew I wanted mine to be one cohesive piece instead of patchwork. The grass is always greener, because now I see people with like patchwork, disjointed style of back tattoos, and I think it looks amazing. But I am really glad I got like one big piece, because I thought I need to take advantage of this big space. As far as advice goes, research, sit with your ideas, write them down, think about them. Just don't be afraid to take the time to choose, because I probably knew that I wanted mine about 3 years before I knew that I wanted it, but I had no idea of an idea. I just knew I wanted something massive. I just started by looking at other people's back pieces and ruling things out. So I love the look of ornamental back pieces, but I knew ornamental wasn't the style for me at the time. Now I think, oh fuck, I'd love an ornamental back piece, but you know, research other people's back pieces, look at styles you like, look at styles you don't like. Probably my advice for this, that spans across all styles of tattoos really. My artist did a lot of back pieces anyway, so I felt pretty confident in the fact that she could execute such a big piece. But I found an artist that I really liked nearly every single tattoo she did, probably like 90% of them, because that way I knew if I went to her with an idea, and I was quite loose with that, I wasn't very specific about what I wanted. I would like whatever she put out and gave to me, and could make as little minimal tweaks as possible. Don't be scared to make tweaks, the artists don't mind, it's going on your body forever. I'm just very unfussy. But yeah, I would suggest going for an artist that you like the majority of their work, because that way you're not asking an artist to do a style that they wouldn't normally do. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, and that's a decent bit of advice. Which one was the most painful? Probably my back or the back of my leg. Specifically, my back was the first session where they were lining it, and it was over my kidneys. That wasn't very pleasant at all. I was pre-warned about it, going over like where your love handles would be, and the bits that are really ticklish, and like the lower back and the kidneys was really unpleasant. She was like, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna need you to like stop moving. And I was like, I didn't know I was moving. Also generally that session was really uncomfortable, because I was sat over the bench like hugging a pillow like this. So I felt like I needed serious chiropractic work after that. So that just added to the uncomfortableness of the whole thing. Second session was a walk in the park though. Star on your chest, it's stunning, thank you so much. Any meaning? No, zero meaning behind this one. I just liked it, I just thought it was cute. Very, very little meaning. Someone's asked how to deal with society no longer making you feel, in quotation marks, beautiful. This is gonna sound like really brash and blunt, but like that's not my experience. I live in Brighton, where there's you throw a stick and you hit someone with a face tattoo, there's a really high proportion of like heavily tattooed people. The people I like hang around with or surround myself with aren't generally the kinds of people who are like, why would you put a bumper sticker on a Bentley? You know, society on a larger scale. There's a few times maybe where I feel like perhaps uncomfortable or I don't fit in. Usually in like smaller areas where tattoo people are like less common. Like if people are staring at me, I don't ever feel like it's because they're like, oh my god, she's a reprobate. I feel like it's just because I look different to what they're used to. It could do, but that's not how I'm choosing to look at it. I've always felt more comfortable in my skin and like more attractive with tattoos. So like I said earlier, like I didn't like my ears, I got my ears tattooed. I've increasingly thought of myself as like more and more beautiful the further I've come along. I say this with the utmost privilege, living in an area where I can feel like that, having friends where I can feel like that. I grew up in like a smallish town. I'm the only person that's tattooed in my family. I get it. I get in some areas it's going to be a very different experience for you. In some communities it's going to be a very different experience for you. Maybe this is wrong, but this is just how I feel about it now. I feel like you could expend all of your energy trying to get people to see you in a different light. All that's going to do is make you frustrated. I think the biggest thing you can do to make your experience and your life more comfortable is reframe it, and reframe it into people are looking because they're maybe intrigued, because they haven't seen someone with a lot of tattoos before, maybe because they're admiring your artwork. I try not to look at it as people are looking from a place of like fear or like disgust or hatred. Maybe they are, but I don't know, and that's not my business, and until they say that in my face, I'm not gonna waste sleep on it. I think tattoos are so commonplace now, and a lot of the connotations that were around in tattoos, at least in like Western society and in the UK, a lot of them are like disappearing, they're on their way out. I get the odd comment on my TikTok, especially when I'm like dressed up to go somewhere nice, especially in like a formal outfit, that like shame about the tattoos. And like, yeah, it's a shame for you. It's not a shame for me. Do I sometimes wish I had none if I was wearing like a red carpet ball gown? Yeah. Did I used to worry about what I might look like on my wedding day? Yeah. I don't worry about either of those things now. It's normal to think about what would be the other way around. I feel like that was a really non-answer, so I apologise, but if I'm completely honest, I've never really struggled with that area of societal pressure when it comes to my looks. So meanings behind them, if any. I have a few with meanings, not like a huge amount of meaning though. I've got M on my finger, that's my mum's initial. I mentioned that earlier in the tattoo tour. I have my one for Doug, obviously. I have my one for Harley. That's just like very self-explanatory. But other than that, I don't really, let me think. I don't really have anything with like any super deep like coded meanings behind it. I don't think tattoos have to have any meaning for me. What do you do while you're getting tattooed? I can't talk or go on my phone or anything. I don't really like talking that much to people. It's one of the things that makes me a little bit nervous about getting tattooed. I always take a book to read and maybe a podcast to listen to. A podcast is good because sometimes I don't feel like going on my phone, so I can just like tune out. A lot of the times I don't end up listening to it anyway, it's just background noise. But yeah, podcast or music, if you can't look at your phone, is a good thing. More often than not, I'll go not expecting to speak to the tattooer, because some tattooists as well don't like talking while they're tattooing. More often than not, we'll have a really good connection and all of the things I brought with me will go to the side, but I think it's a good idea to be prepared. But I would recommend, if you can't talk or look at your phone, maybe try podcasting, a YouTube video that you can listen to, or some music might help. I find the more pain I'm in, the less I can do, so even just like having a movie on in the background helps. What's the tattoo you love to talk about the most? Ones that I think are like really funny, they're always like a good story, is like my Playboy Louis Vuitton, or the one on my stomach that I saw written on a hoodie that I liked. I don't suppose I really have one that like I love to talk about the most, but I often get asked about my ear tattoo because people usually ask about like the process of it, and that's always quite interesting. I think ear tattoos are like fairly common, but I think people probably don't get the opportunity to ask about them a lot, so that one's quite a good one to talk about. I think it always surprises people because that one was an easy one and it just looks like it would be quite uncomfortable and painful. Favourite tattoo? At the moment it's probably my leg pieces, like my Prometheus and my Venus. I can't stop looking at them. I think they're gorgeous. They're also my most recent tattoos, so not that the novelty like ever does really wear off getting them, but I like to look at them and they're fresh. This is a really hard question because I would easily say like this one, or my back piece, but I also love my little D on my arm because that's my man. I don't know. This is a great question. If you could, which tattoo would you change or tweak? Do you know what? I said I have like no regrets, but so many of them I would tweak. Okay, this is funny. I'm gonna run through like a few tweaks I would make on some of them and then I'll pick one. I would change this. This leaf configuration looks like a tiny peeny weeny. Like ages ago I put up an Instagram poll like, do you think this looks like a tiny dick? And people were like, I think 75% of people said yes. But I think that's funny now, so maybe I wouldn't tweak that. I feel like in this one it's impossible to see the snake's head because it's so dark. It's like here, so maybe I would tweak the darkness of that. I would remove the colour. I could just get this filled in, but I probably won't. So someone said, can you imagine yourself without tattoos? I want to say yes, but also in the same breath, no. That's my final answer, no. Because my tattoos are like such an intrinsic point of my style. I can't imagine what my style would be like if I didn't have them. I think my style has influenced my tattoos and my tattoos have influenced my style. I think I've always been like fairly alternative, but now I don't feel like I have to dress as alternatively because my tattoos kind of like nod towards the fact that I have like an alternative style. I love wearing like a really simple outfit like blue jeans, white little t-shirt because my tattoos are an accessory, whereas I found before I had a lot of tattoos I dressed a lot more alternatively to kind of convey the message. I don't think I could. I think I'd just be like a completely different person. So the next one is, what do I plan to get next? So I have the continuation of my leg sleeve, leg trouser booked in, so I've got another 2 pieces that we're hoping we're going to get done then. As far as things that I have planned that I haven't got booked in, I want to get the other side of my stomach done. I want to get some added to my back piece or like something to cap my shoulders, like the top of my shoulders here, because I have a lot of space. I would like to get the sides of my stomach done. I really want to get my palms done. I want to get the tops of my hands done, but do I know what I want in any of these places? No, I have no idea. I want to get the other side of my neck done, I want my ear done, I want the back of my neck done. Probably be a really long time before I get any of that stuff, and I'll just carry on filling in my arms because I have so much space on the inside of my arms. Every time I get a new tattoo, Doug is like, have you thought about maybe finishing your arms? As far as actual designs that I know I want a pigeon tattoo because I love pigeons. I would like a little frog tattooed on me. I want a tattoo of my favourite Squishmallow. I would like my brother's initials tattooed on me. I think I want some kind of Pisces twin fish swimming around, like, you know, like circular on me somewhere, but I don't know where. Those are like solid designs that I know I want. So someone has also commented that they would like to know my experience with numbing cream. They've heard that they can make the pain 10 times worse when it wears off during longer sessions. Would I use it again and did it make much difference? So I've only used numbing cream on one of my tattoos, which was the one that Harley did in November, so my Renaissance inspired leg piece. It was my idea. Can't remember the brand I used, but I will put the name on the screen if I can find it when I'm editing. In the time I've been getting tattooed, numbing creams have like come into development, like lidocaine based ones, and there's been a lot of back and forth in like what I've seen online in the communities about whether artists like to use numbing cream, whether it's a good idea, whether you should tell your artist you're using it, what if you buy it and your artist says they don't like using it, because I know some people don't like it, whether it will interfere with how your skin is to tattoo or the longevity of your tattoo. So basically I've chickened out on using it every single time. Also, I see on TikTok there's a lot of like rhetoric around, oh, what's the point of getting a tattoo if you're going to use numbing cream? You know, like the pain warriors that are just like, yeah, it should hurt so much, I love the pain of getting tattooed. No, I don't like it. It hurts. I don't like doing it, but not enough to stop. Like, as I get older, getting tattooed is becoming increasingly more unpleasant. I find it harder to sit long sessions. That's a really common thing. It's not an enjoyable experience for me, and yeah, I think some people are really like purist about you should feel every moment you're getting tattooed, it makes you hardcore. I personally really liked numbing cream. I wouldn't use it for a small session, but I will be using it for my larger sessions going forward if the artist permits. You should always ask your artist about numbing cream, what their thoughts are on it, if they're happy for you to use it. I will say it is fairly expensive and it can eat into your tattooing time, so you need to leave it on your skin for an hour before getting tattooed. It is a very weird sensation because you can see yourself getting tattooed and you can like feel it, but it doesn't hurt, you can't feel it. So I don't know if you've ever had like local anaesthetic, or if you've ever had filler and you've had lidocaine numbing cream, or if you've ever had an injection in your mouth like at the dentist or filler, when you can't feel yourself dribbling. Like, I could put my clothes on, I couldn't feel my clothes on it. I was poking my leg and I could feel the pressure, but I couldn't feel the feeling. So the first day I did it on my Prometheus piece, walk in the park, oh oh, it was so pleasant. I was like, yes, this is amazing. I can't believe like I've never used this before. I could have done that exact same length of tattoo again, like straight after that. I was really impressed with it. It lasts like 6 hours when you've applied it to your leg until you break the skin. So if you put it on at 12 but you start tattooing at 6, you're probably still good to go. The second you like run a needle over the skin, it kind of loses a bit of its effectiveness. So it's really good if you're working like top to bottom, but if you're like lining it, then going back into another section, you will start to feel the pain. The second day when we did it on the inside of my thigh, because that's where that tattoo goes a bit more, it wore off a lot more quickly. And I think obviously because my skin was already a bit traumatized from the day before, I think it just didn't work as well. And this time Harley was not going from top to bottom, she was like working in different areas a bit more. I found the second day a lot more painful. So I say when it wears off, it is a bit more of a shock to your body because you haven't had like the soft launch of the pain. I was very uncomfortable towards the end of that session, but I was glad I did it because those 2 days without it I would have been a lot more uncomfortable. For me, there's something I've always been a bit scared to use it as well, because I think you should listen to your body's signals about being in pain, so you don't make yourself unwell, overdo it. I always used to get the flu after getting tattooed. It's really common to get like a cold and a cough. I don't so much now because I take a bit better care of my body, but I think there's something about knowing when to tap out, knowing like how your skin is, knowing your body's own signals that you're like flagging that your adrenaline's crashed. We finished my second piece and I was like, oh, we could start the third, and I genuinely felt like I was in a place where I could start the third, and Harley was like, your skin is not going to take any more, like it's coming hard to work. But obviously I didn't feel like that, so she put her foot down. I said, what would you say if I was like a client that you didn't know? She said, I'd have told you to stop. So I was like, fine, let's stop then. So yeah, I would recommend it, but I would only recommend it for long sittings, and like long sittings that are in tough areas. So like inner thigh skin, backs of knees. So yeah, that was my experience with it. I'll probably update you on my experience with it when I next use it for my next leg session. And please always do a patch test on yourself and always consult with your tattoo artist ahead of time. If it's in a hard to reach area, then you might need to get someone else to apply it. Someone's asked, what would be your advice on getting your first tattoo? I get asked this like quite a lot, and I just always want to say, just really sit with it and think about it. My first tattoo was a design that I knew I wanted for like 2 years. I was 16 and I thought, if I still want this design in 2 years, I'll get it. Maybe you don't need to wait that long. I was just so young that it felt like a good idea to wait that long. Just make sure you really like it. I would always say, if you're kind of on the fence about how many tattoos you'll get in the future, get it somewhere like that you can cover up, that's discreet. Don't get a hands, a neck or a face. Absolutely don't get like a massive banger on the back of your hand when you've got no arm sleeves. I just think they look so weird. Don't get something offensive. Don't get something that's like cultural appropriation. If you are getting a cultural tattoo, do your research. Like I said earlier, go to an artist that you like all of their work, because then you are going to like the design they make for you. Don't be scared to be really specific. Remember, the tattoo artist is the professional. Cheap tattoos aren't good and good tattoos aren't cheap. I just think, like, don't be scared to let an idea really like sit with you for a long time and just like consider it and think about placements and just over research if you want. I don't know, it's really hard for me to say. If I hadn't known that I wanted this for ages, what would my first tattoo have been, or like how many would I have now, because that kind of like opened the floodgates for me. If anyone else has any advice for like first time tattoos, pop it in the comments, because I'd be really interested to hear, because I feel like I don't give very good advice because I'm a bit of like a fuck it, just get what you get person, as you can see, as is evidenced on my body. And then the last question is, someone wanted to ask for tips for sitting long sessions. I'm so sorry, you're about to do your biggest piece yet on Friday and you're really nervous, and that was 2 months ago, so I hope your tattoo went well. I'm sorry that I didn't film that video any quicker or respond to your comment. Long sessions, nice and comfortable. Take layers. You never know how cold studios are going to be. Also, when your body's in pain, you can start to shiver sometimes. Your body will feel cold as it like runs out of adrenaline. Take a book, take your phone, something to watch on your phone, take some headphones. I always bring like a few activities, whether it's a podcast, listening to music, a movie, reading. What you wear will depend on what area you're getting tattooed. So like if you're getting your back tattooed, take a zip up hoodie and a button up shirt so you can be warm with long sleeves, because you will get cold, and it means you can avoid being like completely topless in the studio, especially if they don't have a private tattooing area. Same if you're getting your leg tattooed. I was taking like really thick comfy leggings, a tracksuit and a pair of warm socks so that I had one leg out. Even though the studio had heaters, you just don't know what the setup's going to be like. If in doubt, ask your artist what you should wear. I always take hairbands because I like having my hair off my face when I'm feeling uncomfortable. Eat a really good meal before you get tattooed, and don't be afraid to take some snacks or ask your tattoo artist for a break, or ask when they want to have breaks. I always take something sugary for a little pick-me-up, and then like a bag of crisps or some fruit, as well as a big bottle of water and usually a sugary drink if it's a long session, like a Powerade or something. I like a blue Powerade, that's like one of my favourite drinks, or a Lucozade Sport. Also, don't be afraid to just be like, hey look, I'm not very good at talking in longer sessions, so I'm just gonna put my headphones on, do my thing, if that's alright. Same way as if you're nervous, don't be afraid to let the tattoo artist know you're nervous. And when you're done, go home, get rest. Don't do stupid stuff like not follow aftercare instructions. After I've had a big session, if I can, I always like to have the next day off so I can rest, get enough sleep. You might not realise how tired you are, but yeah, your body, it's like essentially a long trauma. Like being in pain for a lot of time is very traumatic on your body. Even if it doesn't feel like actively painful, it's pain like on your body, and your body receives that. So yeah, just make sure you're resting afterwards, feeding yourself good food, nourishing yourself. Don't make any crazy plans. Everyone's pain tolerance is different, and I personally find long sessions really draining, even though I have quite a high pain tolerance. We've come to the end of the questions. I hope that video is useful for you. That is basically the end of my tattoo tour and my Q&A. I will pop all my socials in the description box. I will link as well all my tattoo vlogs that I've done for the last year. If you've got any further advice off any of those questions, because I'm sure I haven't covered everything, like I said, I'm not the authority on tattoos, these are just my experiences, absolutely let me know the advice to those questions in the comments, because I'm sure as a community everyone will find it really helpful. If you did enjoy today's video, it would mean the world to me if you left a little like or hit the subscribe button. I upload every week on Wednesdays and Sundays, usually in the evening around 6 PM-ish. I'm a lot more active on Instagram now, and I'm definitely a lot more active on TikTok, so they'll be in the description box for you. Thank you so much for your patience, everyone. I don't know when I'll do my next tattoo tour video. The next one will be a tattoo vlog. I probably won't update this for at least like a year, depending on how many tattoos I get, but hopefully you enjoyed this, and yeah, thanks for your patience because I know that took me so long to film. I will see you on the next video. Have a lovely rest of your day.